The old factory became too small again. In 1870, Ludwig Bosendorfer bought the already existing building in the Graf Starnberggasse 14 in the 4th district. You know, is still existing as our house until today. The office and the showrooms moved into the city, into the Palais Liechtenstein in the Herrengasse, one of the first addresses in Vienna at all. In this Palais, Ludwig Bosendorfer also has had his private dwellings. Because he loved horses, Bosendorfer visited often the riding school of the Prince Liechtenstein, and he noticed that the horse stables had a remarkable good acoustics. This awareness, together with his profound musical interest, brought him to persuade Prince Liechtenstein that in the interest of music and arts, the stables should and could become a concert hall. Through personal talks, Bosendorfer succeeded in convincing the prince, and in 1872 the conversion of the hall was finished. The famous Hans von Bülow inaugurated the Bosendorfer Hall on November 19, 1872 with a recital. As foreseen by Bosendorfer, the excellent acoustics created immense excitement, and it became the most frequented hall for chamber music in Vienna for more than 40 years. During this time, around 4,000 concerts took place in the hall. Franz Liszt, Pablo de Sarasate, Ferruccio Busoni, Ignacy Pedalewski, Johannes Brahms, Max Reger, Richard Strauss, Gustav Mahler, and. It's a who is who of the world's musical life, playing in the famous hall of the famous piano maker. Unfortunately, in May 1913, the whole Palais Liechtenstein was destructed, also the hall, and Toute Vienne mourned. During this time, Ludwig Bosendorfer traveled together with his concert grands a lot, with Franz Liszt and Anton Rubinstein on many of their tours throughout Europe. His request for a private railway car, he would have paid it, with music and sleeping rooms for artists, was refused by the directors of the Imperial State Railroad. In 1869, the Conservatory of the Society of the Viennese Friends of Music, we call it the Wiener Musikverein, moved into the famous Musikvereinsbuilding at the Karlsplatz. Bosendorfer granted 14 new grand pianos to the society and to the conservatory. From this time on, he became a member of the directory of the society for a lifetime, a reason that afterwards he could establish the so-called Stadtsalon in the Musikverein building until today. In 1873, at the occasion of the World Exhibition in Vienna, Bosendorfer was honored by the visit of Emperor Franz Joseph. The annual production of his pianos increased to 288, the absolute top of these days for piano making in Austria. In 1883, the piano number 10,000 left the factory, and the clients of these Bosendorfer pianos were very famous, like Empress Elizabeth, Tsar Nikolaus II of Russia, the Archduques Eugen and Rudolf, the daughters of the Emperor Gisela and Valerie, Princess Pauline of Metternich, and. It was a duty for a lot of other nobles and citizens to buy a Bosendorfer as a sign of prestige. During these days, Ludwig Bosendorfer was known as one of the most colorful and original personalities of Old Vienna. He became a true promoter of Viennese musical life. All Vienna knew him with his inimitable top hat and his yellow overcoat. He was not only one of the most respected citizens of Vienna, but also an extremely popular figure. His pianos, meanwhile, gained the respect of every artist on the continent. Johannes Brahms, for instance, asked always for his pianos during his summer stages all over Austria, and Johann Strauss bought a Bosendorfer grant for his apartment in Vienna in the Paterstrasse, which still can be admired in this museum. Gustav Mahler was supported by Bosendorfer during his studying years in Vienna with a grant free of any charge. Also married twice, Bosendorfer had no children. Both of his wives died before him, and so he decided to sell the factory in 1909 to his private friend Karl Hutterstrasser, a banker, not a piano maker, but a person who knew all necessary things to continue Ludwig's ideas in marketing and keeping up the high quality of his pianos. Between 1913 and 1914, before the beginning of the First World War, the production reached the amount of 454 pianos, but during the war, the production came down to only 136 pianos per year. The war and the destruction of the famous Bosendorfer Hall signified a phenomenon of a broken heart. I quote, "Alone in the world without children," Bosendorfer wrote in his last will in 1914, he became more and more lonesome, and on May 9, 1919, he died. He was buried on the Central Cemetery in Vienna. Nobody was present at his funeral, except the Hutterstrasser family and the director of the Gesellschaft der Musikfreunde in Vienna, Dr. Ernst Krauss. No flowers, no speeches. Even the gravestone had to have nothing more than the name Ludwig. That was his will.